welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. I'm your host Vic, aka Mr. Never Shown. This episode number 77, and I'm joined by my co-host Scobie One,
How you guys doing?
and of course I'm joined by my other co-host Lunatic Oblivion.
Hey guys, how are you doing today?
So welcome back to the show. Let's get on the road. We're going to talk about what we've been playing this week. So if you want to go ahead and kick it off for us, Roger.
All right, so Vic, first of all, I want to cover one of the games that you beat. So this came out of left field here. We had Hi-Fi Rush, just like stealth, like ghost drop in the middle of the week. They're like, hey, so we're gonna release this game in a few hours here, and like, so this is a rhythm game, right? So tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about it.
Yeah, so this was shadow dropped at the Xbox and Bethesda Direct Showcase early last week, and yeah, this is clearly out of left field. No leaks, no rumors, nothing leading up to this game, and yeah, it is like a rhythm game, but like it's not one of those like rhythm games like we played Metal Hellsinger. Like that was really like legitimately rhythm based. Where this one, there's rhythm to it, but like your attacks hit on beat every single time, no matter what. You just get bonus
Yeah.
points or bonus damage if you hit on beat. So, and it's not even that bad. And you can chain combos. To me, it was like more of like a hack and slash. But I really
hmm
loved the game. It was a lot of fun. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I'm looking forward to writing a review for it. My gameplay playthrough will be available on Shoot the One's YouTube in a couple weeks here when I get that up. But yeah, it reminded me of like Sunset Overdrive and then also like Jet Set Radio, one of those classic games, like a combination. And it was a really fun game. It took me about like 10, 12 hours to beat. It wasn't too long either. But what the surprising part is who developed this. This came from Tango Gameworks, who is known for Evil Within 1, Evil Within 2, Ghostwire Tokyo, so horror-driven games. This is not anywhere close to being a horror game. So, but yeah, overall, man, this is a solid start for Xbox because this is an Xbox exclusive, Game Pass day one, and it's off to a phenomenal start. Does this game kind of interest either of you guys at all?
So I
It
had
looked.
actually,
Go ahead. No, no, you first.
so I'd actually seen that. So like I do my little like Sunday like sort of things where I look at new games and kind of see like what I want to add to my cart, go from there. And I had seen this, and this looked absolutely fun. And the first vibe that I got was that Jet Set Radio kind of feel, and seeing where it was kind of like it. No, obviously correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm too far off here. But it seemed like it was almost like a Parappa the Rappa kind of fight simulator.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, it seemed awesome, and it looked great. And I'm glad that you were able to go through and hash that out in about 10 or 12 hours. Looked fun. Good, Vic. Sorry for cutting you off, sir.
Oh no, so like for me, I was gonna say about this game here, it reminded me almost like one of those comic sort of feels with
Yeah,
things like the way like I expected like pow bang to pop up on the screen and
sometimes it
like
did. Like that kind
yeah.
of stuff did.
So
Yeah.
like it looked really interesting. Like for me, I started my day on I think it was Wednesday and I was like, what is this? Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
See nothing about it, just enters into the fucking game
Into
into my
existence.
catalog for and I was like, "Oh, free to play on the on Game Pass." And I was like, "This looks interesting." I didn't know if I was gonna pick it up, but it definitely looks like a fun game.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Definitely check it out. I know you're not a fan of rhythm games, but this game is more of like a hack and slash, like traversal,
Mhm.
Metrovania. Because there's going to be some areas that you can't get to until you unlock certain characters later on. Because like you start to build your team from employees of this corporation that no longer accept the views of that corporation, and they join you, and they have like different abilities, and then like they teleport to you in combat or whenever you need them via this like that floating cat that's always with you at all times, and the cat can also walk around like a normal robot cat. But yeah, it's just an incredible game, and there's like end game to it as well. Like, because after you
Mhm.
beat the game, there's these new signals that come up, and you can go and explore them, and new areas get unlocked. But I probably won't go back and do it. It's not a game that I want to put end game time into. Once I beat the story, on to the next thing. But overall,
Mhm.
that's fun. But Roger, I see you. You picked up you had your co-op stream today with Disney Princess here in chat, and you guys started Super Mario World, and plus Bowser, right?
Yeah, so we started. This is a little bit of an older game, but I decided, since nobody had requested a game officially on my channel, I was like, well, I'm gonna do what I want to do today. So I decided I just stopped a game, went to go stop at GameStop. They were closed. Hit Target real quick, and I was like, I'm gonna grab a co-op game for the Switch, and I'm just gonna play it on my capture card on the PC.
Hmm.
So since Disney had just gotten me the capture card in December, I was like, well, I haven't used it yet, other than just playing solo use here in the middle, like, on my main monitor at my computer desk. I was like,
Hmm.
maybe I'll give it a go for a stream. And so we decided it was either this Luigi's Mansion or Captain Toad's, the game from 2021, I think it was. So
That
it
Luigi's
was,
Mansion though.
yeah, I know. I really thought about it because I was surprised to see Luigi's Mansion was multiplayer. It has co-op once you unlock the goo version of Luigi. But I decided to grab this. It's a remake
Yeah.
or a re-release for the Switch of the original Mario World 3D, which was for the Wii U.
Hmm.
But it also includes Bowser's Fury, which is an additional game added on to this. So what I really got it was I never beat Mario 3D World, and I wasn't going to go back and play it on my Wii U. I just decided to grab it here because it came with this additional game, which I'm
Right.
excited to try.
Yeah, it's
But
definitely a game
no,
that's
it
on my list
was
to get to eventually.
it's fun because it's up to 4 people co-op, so you can play on the couch with a bunch of people and have some fun. It's real goofy, and honestly, it was just a nice, simple game to play for the day, and it was just enjoyable to have somebody else other than just playing by myself today.
Hmm. Um, and then you, Scott, I see that you finally downloaded and started playing Overwatch 2, eh? How that
I
been?
did. Not bad. It's training wheels, man. It's a bicycle. It's you get in, you go back in. The maps are a little different, but getting back into it, it's the same old thing. Now, granted, I went with a lot of comfortable characters that I had already put a lot of time into back in the first Overwatch. As you know, the first thing I do, I pull out, Big Daddy Reinhardt.
Hmm.
So nice and easy peasy there. Um, so yeah, I can't wait to get back into that and see how it goes. I think here in this week, I'm probably gonna see about once I get my bearings, probably see about getting back into some of the competitive play, see where I place, see where I'm at. Probably end up lowest of the low, just to see how it's going. But it was nice. A really nice feature that I didn't know that they had was I was able to merge my old Xbox Live account into it.
Hmm.
That was really nice. I pulled everything, which is the exact opposite of what happened with League of Legends.
Okay.
Uh, that you might see in parentheses over there, and that's why I put it in parentheses.
You
Um,
played
Quotes.
League of Legends.
I played, and that's attempted to play. I'm not going to get too far into it. Long story short, the account that I had always been playing on since like 2012, 2013, skins bought, like all this time, level 30, like there, right? Log back into it, and they have my ass in the in EU West. And I'm level 1. I have no purchase history. I have nothing. So I've been online with Riot support
Good luck.
since about yesterday, trying to figure that one out. And they're like, "Oh yeah, just go ahead and transfer. If you go to RP and then
You
account,
ain't gonna buy a transfer.
I'm like, first off, I'm not paying for that. Secondly, North America is not even an option for me. So I'm like, my client is like everything's set to North America, and then the minute I open up my client, which is a virus by the way, uh, I can't. I'm EU West. I can't do anything about it. And when I say
Yeah.
it's virus, it installs in your machine, and because one of my answers was to uninstall everything, reinstall it under North America patching, everything like that. You can't uninstall the Riot client. But this
If you
affects my
have
ability
a
to.
game, you can't uninstall it.
And but you, if I've uninstalled League of Legends, and
And Valorant and
I
Team.
still cannot get rid of the Riot client.
Interesting.
But this affects my ability to eventually play Valorant if I want to step into that because it has me in
The wrong
effing
region.
EU where I've never been in my entire life with the same exact account that I've had since like for
But it's
11 years.
Western EU.
Is Western EU. So yeah, awesome, awesome, great time there.
Damn.
What about you? What have you been playing, Vic?
Yeah, outside of Hi-Fi Rush, it's just my typical competitor shooters. Modern Warfare 2. It's really just been a Warzone lately. I hopped into a couple matches of multiplayer just to see if anything really changed. I still got it, still dominating that shit. Overwatch 2. We were having fun the other day. Um, Overwatch 2 is interesting, man. Like especially in the ranked gameplay. Like that's if you don't got a
Shit,
solid team, you're gonna get smoked.
it's all about objective play, and that's the thing. Like we were complaining about Junkrat, and we're not going to get into it. We're just going to say Junkrat is a thing, and in low elo, when you're playing a game that only has objective play, how are you supposed to play against a character who has something so fast and so destructive? Oh, don't group. Okay, so I won't play the objective?
Yeah, I can't group and play as a
Yeah,
team, but
ridiculous.
Junkrat sends a tire
Uh,
and boom, there goes the whole team.
yeah.
No reaction
No,
time.
it's definitely an interesting game, but I'm hoping the game gets better as we go. Overwatch 2 is one of those things that really divided the community.
Hmm.
A lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm excited to try Overwatch 2," and then they're like, "Eh." But luckily, we keep getting balance changes, and the balance changes do feel honest and like they're trying to fix things. Like Roadhog, for example, can no longer one-shot people. Great, it's
Thank goodness.
awesome.
Yeah, let's get that that nerf on Junkrat and we'll be good. But
Yeah,
yeah, Roger, if you want to close out our gaming section, talking a little bit about your playthrough of Fire Emblem Engage, how's that been going?
yeah. So Fire Emblem Engage is definitely an interesting game. So they've reworked a lot of the mechanics that they've had kind of since earlier games, where typically with Fire Emblem you would move through different classes until you got to your final class. In
Hmm.
this game, you take a class, you go into an advanced class, that's it. So you have two classes, and the way you add depth to your play now is you do it with these rings, the emblem rings, and it definitely changes the game. The story leaves a little bit to be desired. Like some moments, the story's like you're standing in front of this altar in the cathedral, and you're doing this whole dialogue. Then all of a sudden, the battle starts. You're at the entrance, and you have to fight your way back up to the altar in the cathedral. And I'm like, wait, they don't want him running away, but why do they spawn me at the door? What's going on here?
Damn.
So there is a lot of interesting story. I won't say it's a good story by any means. I'll say it's okay, but I think the gameplay, the fact that they've changed so much about it, adds a little bit more depth with what I find interesting. I just think the gameplay loop is a little tedious. You battle, you go back to your home base and you run around real quick and do all your little side things to get your your relationships up. You collect little crappy items around your base. You fish 3 times. You pet your little friend and you gather all your items. Then you go out, do another battle. You come back, do it again. Oh, I went out, did something else. You come back, do it again, and it's like every time you're done, you come back to your home base to do this little circle. Otherwise, you're going to be missing out on all these little small optimizations on hard mode, for example. And then, like, there is no more, like, you can go out and fight extra battles to really try to train some of your troops up, but the extra battles outscale the actual story mode. So you have to do the extra battles with your best characters, or otherwise they're going to one-shot you. And then if you try to do the story mode, you have to play with your worst characters to level them up through the story mode. So you're like,
That's
the
interesting.
balance is the
Yeah.
balance is very weird because the extra battles are based off of your highest character ranks, but the story mode is based off of, the story mode. It has a set level. So
Right.
you abandon some of these characters, you get a new one, you're like, I'm done playing with you, and you just drop off the other characters and you're done. So it does have a little bit to be desired, but I think there's a lot of depth there and the ability to kind of optimize and make each character unique in their own.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Fire Emblem, man. very interesting
It's
experience.
been around for
Yeah,
a
it's been a
long
while. Yeah,
time.
so it's kind of hard
Oh
to
yeah.
reinvent the wheel without messing things up or making things worse or whatever, and then still trying to improve in certain ways. So it's definitely a balancing issue. It seems like. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, let's move on to what we've been playing and what we have looked forward to playing here. What's going on in the game releases?
All right, so we've got about 10 games here that are coming out this week. So, first of all, Trek to Yomi is getting a Switch port this week. So, on January 30th, if you haven't played Trek to Yomi
That's a must
and you
play.
have a Switch, it's a must play. It is an excellent game. It is super fun. It has replayability if you're looking for that. And it shouldn't be too expensive. Hopefully, it's like under $30 for the Switch.
Hmm.
If it's like a $20 game on the Switch, it's a perfect buy at that price point.
Oh
A little
yeah.
bit over, maybe still doable. But we also see some other older games and other ports coming out. Power Wash Simulator is getting ported to the PS5, PS4, and the Switch the same day. If you're into Power Wash Simulator and you haven't played it on PC yet, and you only have one of these consoles, feel free to get it. It's an interesting game. A lot of people have been having fun with this.
Yeah, I heard it's really
Also,
meditative.
it is. I've also seen a lot of things on the internet. Like one guy took over his son's game when he walked out of the room and he came back and drew a penis in something on his son's game.
That's great.
He posted it to Reddit and he goes, sabotaging my son's game a little bit at a time.
You know what? That's how you do it. That's how you just show. Hey, right there, boss.
Drew a
Just straight dick.
Now that kid knows whose house it is.
Exactly. Exactly.
Next up, we have another port that's actually quite interesting. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is getting a console port for Xbox X and S and the Xbox One. Also, we have the Inclinati. Inclinati is a game that is coming out for Xbox X and S, One, Switch, and the PC the same day. This is January 31st.
Game Pass.
And then
day one.
follow it up, Game Pass Day 1, yes. As well as the next one that I believe also comes to Game Pass potentially.
This
I
is,
can't remember. No, okay.
Which one are you talking
This
about?
is Season.
Yeah, it's a
Season.
PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah. So Season is a PlayStation exclusive that is coming to PC Day 1. This is Season, A Letter to the Future. It's PS5, PS4, and PC also the same day. And rounding out our January the 31st, we will have SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake comes to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
Game of the year.
Game of the year, right there, right there, flawless. I'm
Honestly-
willing to bet that that's the only one that drops with 0 bugs. 100.
Honestly, weirdly enough, I want to agree with you. SpongeBob has been on point recently, and that is a weird thing to say.
It's odd, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
You're
like one of
looking
those
at
things. Like what I said
Forspoken
was, yeah,
failed
was seen.
on launch.
All of them.
SpongeBob gonna succeed.
Right there, right there. It's like it's seemingly ironic. However, comma, like, I mean, SpongeBob don't drop. You know, it ain't. Game of the year, man. Game of the year right now. Right now, just calling it 2023. We're not even in February yet. We already got it right here. SpongeBob.
Talking about February, though, we have 4 games, 5 games
Yeah.
coming out on February 2nd. So the first one, Chef Life, a restaurant simulator game. This comes out for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on the 2nd of February. Followed by the game I know you're most excited for, Vic, which is Deliver Us Mars. Deliver Us Mars is the sequel to Deliver Us the Moon.
Yep.
And it is coming out for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. So this is both next gen and previous gen. Followed by Life is Strange 2, getting a port for the Switch. We've got Tales, the Backbone Preludes, which comes out for the PC. And lastly, we've got The Pathless, which comes out for Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and the Switch.
Interesting enough, that
So-
was a PlayStation exclusive at some time.
It was.
Another
That
one
was.
that's no longer a PlayStation exclusive.
And honestly, it's just PlayStation needs like their pattern is working. Just continue with the same pattern and they'll do really well, I think, is to just release on their console, and if you want it day 1, you get their console, and then a few months later you drop it for everything else.
Yeah.
Xbox does it too.
Yeah.
So it's a tried and true model that will work. And if you have enough hype behind your games, you can get them to buy your console. If you don't, you get them to buy into your studio afterwards on whatever platform
Right.
at full price again.
Right, because Forspoken right now, which you're just alluding to, is a PlayStation exclusive, but apparently it's a 2 year timed exclusive, so it could become an Xbox after those 2 years. But if it's going to continue down the path of a very shitty game of a game, no one's going to even want to play
Yeah,
it 2 years later.
but yeah, and the problem with Forspoken was it was also a PC day one.
Mm-hmm.
And people can't get, with a 4090, they're still struggling to get optimization. The game is completely unoptimized for PC. Now, I don't know about console how well it's doing, but the PC market is furious.
Yeah.
Oh, it's god awful. Yeah, like it's just god awful.
But yeah, what you were saying though, Deliver Us Mars, really excited. For those who follow my stream, I just beat Deliver Us the Moon, last week I think it was, and that was a really enjoyable game. I really love the story. Basically, like Earth is on the brink of non-existence because of the energy levels, and it just becoming inhabitable. And they find this energy source on the moon, but they're sending it back like this like microwave technology, like through a from a satellite to another satellite, and the people on the moon like go dark, and then that's it. Earth is dying, and then some team eventually gets sent up to the moon. You have to save the moon, which then saves Earth, and then at the end of the game, it alludes to. I'm not going to spoil anything here, but Deliver Us Mars makes perfect sense why that game's going to happen.
Mhm.
So I'm really looking forward to it. I'll be streaming it probably the week after, like a week after that, maybe 1 or 2 weeks. I gotta get to Dead Space, man. That just dropped
True.
last week, so gotta get to
I'm
that.
sorry to hear that Dead Space, though, is also kind of an unoptimized mess for certain consoles. For PC,
Yeah,
people are rocking it with a 4090 and they still can't get, the max settings
yeah.
with even close to 60 frames, which
Well,
is
I got
crazy.
nothing to worry about. It's running really smooth on Series X, so I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to checking it out because they said this is like what a remake should be going forward. Like this is like a standard, like that's how good
Mhm.
it is. But
Good.
because they like restructured like some of the missions, like they changed it out. Like if it was like super simple or like the mechanic didn't make sense, they like readjusted it and make you do a different approach, but with a similar objective. So really looking forward to that. But Scott, any of these games on here that you are looking forward to?
You mean aside from SpongeBob?
Yeah, the game of the
I
year.
mean
Yeah.
that's yeah. I mean that like it's big bold right there. So this is not the first time that I've been excited for other people,
Mhm.
and that will continue with the Age of Empires. I love
Mhm.
that entire series. I love the RTS, like the real time strategy, just play on that stuff. I think that's gonna be awesome coming to Xbox. I once again love Age of Empires. Love my old college game used to be like Rise of Nations. So when I see things like that come out, I'm just immediately hyped for that. Um, Deliver Us Mars. I caught some of your stream when you were doing Deliver
Mhm.
Us the Moon, and I mean, I think it's going to be an awesome sequel. I have a very good idea of why it makes sense,
Mhm.
and yeah, I think it's going to be a really good sequel
For
when
sure.
it comes in. Other than that, I mean, obviously SpongeBob SquarePants Game of the Year. Let's go.
And what about you, Roger? Which one are you looking forward to here?
Honestly, out of all the games this week, I think, no lie, SpongeBob may be the thing that would
Okay.
interest me the most, only
Yes, sir.
because I was having so much fun playing a co-op game today with Disney. I'd see myself playing SpongeBob. It's also co-op.
It looks good, to be
Somebody's
honest.
SpongeBob, somebody's Patrick. Let's
Yeah.
get into some hijinks.
Yeah, I definitely might have to pick that up too. You guys are hyping it up, and you're making me get going. I'm like, all right, fuck it, Cosmic Shake it is.
Cosmic Shake Day.
But yeah, man, that's all the games that are coming out this week. Let's move on to our industry news. We actually got some pretty interesting topics to cover. So, Roger, if you want to kick us off with the first one.
All right, so starting off with some weird bad news.
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard decided that they were going to fire one of their longest running workers, 16 years with the company. WoW Classic lead decided to speak out against ranking policy, which is a way of awarding the so when you get your year-end reviews, you typically get good, bad, or meets expectations or goes above and beyond. Well, they decided that you can only have so many people in each category.
Oh damn.
So you can only have so many people who uh have met expectations. You can only have so many
That
people
doesn't make
who
sense.
have exceeded expectations. So the idea is to breed competition. So the WoW lead, protested, said, this creates a hostile work environment where people are prone to sabotage each other, which he
Right.
had been seen happening because people want to take other people down, so
They
they
can
have a
make it
better
success. Yeah.
chance to get ahead. Because your yearly pay actually depended on your review. So if you didn't meet expectations or exceeded expectations, you lost profit sharing. You didn't get a share of Activision Blizzard's profits,
Jesus.
which
Yeah.
is a part of your reviews. That's shitty. So
Yeah.
to say somebody isn't, so now your company, your employees, you get them to fight each other instead of being angry with you. So it's another way Blizzard has yet again tried to get the employees to turn on each other and not on them, to distract the workforce from the real problem in the workplace. So
Right.
they fired him after 16 years because he said, "I'm not going to give people reviews that they don't deserve."
Yeah, that's insane. Like, you
And
imagine like if there's four people that deserves like above expectations, and you're only allowed to give three, but you know there's four. One person's gonna get gypped out on something.
Yeah, and
or
that's
him,
even worse
honestly.
when you're in a minority of people who deserved it and don't get it. Like, I don't want to speak on personal, but that's how it happened to Disney Princess. She actually, they told her, sorry, only so many people can be, a, above expectations. She's like, well, why the fuck did I work extra?
Right.
You
Why
know?
did I go above and beyond for you if I'm gonna be
So
recognized as I didn't?
Yep.
yeah,
And
so what's
as
what's gonna happen is, now why am I not sabotaging Joe instead of working hard? Like, why
Right.
work harder when I can just ruin Joe and Joe will go get fucked and I'll get the actual good review? I do my job and fuck him. Maybe he gets fired, but I exceeded expectations.
that is a sad state of affairs over there
Yes.
with
Well,
the WoW Classic. Kudos to him for speaking out against that. As somebody who is also on a doesn't meets, exceeds pay scale sort of thing, the one thing that they don't do where I work is they don't make it so it's limited. This is a blatant disregard for a respect of your employees, and it's made to have the exact situation that you're talking about. And that's exactly what that's for. You can't just limit. Oh, we only get 3 exceeds this year. Like you can't just do that. And I applaud him for speaking out against that because he was taking care of his people at that point.
Hmm.
Uh, when and anybody who gets fired for taking care of their people, I mean, that's
yeah.
as close to a martyr as we've gotten in some modern era when it comes to this. And boo on them for
It's
making this
honestly,
system. It is
I
so
can't
bad.
I can't
It's
stand for Activision Blizzard anymore. Like, it
it's
really sucks, and I have a hard time supporting them.
Hmm.
Like, I barely want to support Overwatch 2. Like,
And
I
Call of Duty.
like the game and I'm gonna stick with it long enough. In Call of Duty, even then, I'm like, I don't want to put much money into it. I don't want to
Right.
give them my money. Like, if I can play the game for free, then I'm gonna go as far as I can playing the game for free. I give
Right.
Activision Blizzard like $5 every month
yeah.
or
Yeah,
every 3 months. It's like,
that's
like
textbook somebody trying to just tighten the bolts just to see what they can get out of people, and that's not how shit like this is supposed to be ran. That's not how shit like this ends up successful. That's not how you have happy employees. And if you don't have happy
it's not what
employees,
made
you
Blizzard
don't have a
great.
good fucking product.
Yeah, not at all.
Let's make Blizzard great again.
Yeah.
We can,
Imga.
yeah, let's get that on a shirt.
Imga. Make Blizzard great again.
Ready to get
Vic, talking about Activision
Yeah.
though, tell me about the merger.
Yeah,
How's that
so
going?
yeah, just a quick update. It's getting crazy, dude. Microsoft has officially subpoenaed PlayStation for its defense against the FTC lawsuit because Sony is basically blatantly lying to the EU regulators about all of this. They're like, Xbox never offered us an agreement to keep Call of Duty all the on all platforms, and they're like, but it's right here in documentation. Like how are you blatantly lying about this? And like PlayStation's like, we're not going to show up. Like they're really trying to fight showing up, and like they're doing the most to try and block this acquisition because like they know it's going to negatively impact them by far.
Mhm.
No matter if Call of Duty stays on PlayStation or not, Call of Duty is going to become free to play via Game Pass at that point, where instead of spending $70-$80 on PlayStation. So like I get it, but it's just like PlayStation is flying their executives out to the EU and all the other regulators and like trying to have. I know there's money being exchanged in these private rooms right now. Hey,
That's always it.
take this
They're
money and be
lobbying.
quiet. Fuck this up for
It's
us.
lobbying.
Yeah.
It's lobbying.
And
Something that already should be mostly illegal. Like,
and the other crazy thing is that I didn't even write it in here because I wanted to bring it up. The FTC purposely waited to put the lawsuit in effect until the EU was about to make a decision because they know that it would delay the EU. Like they want to make this prolong as much as possible. Like the FTC
They're
is
just
out
putting
to
it off.
sabotage. Yeah, they're out to sabotage this for sure. And that's why Activision Blizzard is almost at the point like we don't care what you have to say. We're making this deal happen whether you like it or not. Because the rest
They're
of the
just
world
coming
likes
in
it.
and kicking that can. They're coming in and kicking that can down the road as best that they can.
Yeah.
and what really sucks here is I think we're kind of turning a blind eye to the true scary thing that is in the room, and that is Tencent now
Yeah.
being owned by China,
Yeah.
mostly China, like
Yes.
being a big participant. The fact that the People's Republic actually owns a speakable
The
share on
golden
like
share is what it
Tencent.
was called last week.
Yeah, yeah. It's they are the voice in the room. So now we're letting them do their thing in the corner while we're having like two of the two best game develop like studios fighting each other.
Right.
Like I get it sucks that they're gonna buy Activision Blizzard, and honestly, this is a sinking ship that Microsoft is gonna invest a lot to bring back, but is gonna make a ton more money off of it.
Right. And honestly, like obviously with the points we were just talking about, the policies that go on in Activision Blizzard, the unfairness, the toxicity that's going on in the work environment. This is what Microsoft can, in theory, save, because they're known to
Hopefully.
go in there and fix the ship. So hopefully they can clean house once this goes through.
Hopefully. But
And
then again, look what Microsoft did last week. They're like, let's lay off a large portion of our staff and invite Sting to do a concert for our
yeah,
executives.
yeah.
Sting, though,
It's like
obviously they've done nothing wrong at that point because they got Sting, and
Yeah,
They
they're
don't
looking
care.
good. Yeah, they're looking good.
these
in
people are
everybody's eyes.
fired. We don't have to listen to them. They're gone. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, we don't know the true reason why. I mean, 10,000 in their eyes isn't anything. Like they're how they have like almost a half a million employees, so they're like 10,000. That's nothing. So,
yeah.
but it does suck though. Anybody that lose a job is not good. But Roger, let's continue the heated conversation. I know you want to talk about your favorite news outlet here,
Yeah.
Fox News.
oh god. All right. So we're gonna
Let's
make this super
go.
short. It's not really a big deal, but
It can
the dumbass conservatives decided that this was the hill to die on last week and this week. Since Microsoft, we announced it, we talked about it last
Yeah.
week. Microsoft is doing a new was it last week or the week before?
Yeah, something
They
like
want to
that.
do yeah,
Last
they
week,
want to
'cause I
do
was
new
talking
settings
about
for climate change to like help with climate change. They're trying to help implement more energy saving modes that really work to make the console when it's not being used run lighter.
Yeah.
Like use less energy period. Like anytime you can get the same usability for less energy, what is the problem? What is the problem with doing this? But we do also have to talk about the fact that Microsoft released a video, like a not a trailer, but like an advertisement or like a thing sort of pointed it at the kids and the younger teens and things like this, saying, here's why we're doing this. And Fox News fired back.
Yeah.
They fired back hard. They said, Microsoft is out here to brainwash these children into becoming climate change activists, and this is the way the geopolitical people are trying to take over the world and make America terrible again.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just goofy. It's Fox News has nothing to really complain about because the Democrats are saving this country, and they're mad it's not them.
Yeah,
They're
for sure.
mad they're not the ones getting to burn the country right now, and they're looking for all these tiny arguments to nitpick.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Right.
If a console is going to run just as good for less energy, what is the problem?
Yeah, who's
What
it
is the
really
problem
affecting?
with- No one. It is, well, it's affecting the bottom line of corporations who produce the electricity that you have to
Right,
buy.
right. They have to produce less electricity. It means less money in their pockets. Yes, I get it. I mean, that's the whole idea with the whole the electric car thing, because they were talking about that in this argument. They're like, first they targeted people with electric cars, so we don't got to worry about gas, and we're ruining the fuel and the energy industry, and now we're targeting kids with their Xboxes, and they're trying to get them to be the next electric car owners. I was just like, these guys are fucking bored. Like,
It just reminds me, like Fox News's reaction to this reminds me of back in the Korean War when there was like 1 or 2 shots fired at this warship, right? And the warship just like stopped, stood for a second, and then just completely unloaded on this mountaintop. Like, just completely unloaded. Yeah, once again, classic Fox News. First off, if you watch Fox News, like the CNN, the MSNBC, it's all entertainment anyway. It's all fucking garbage anyway.
It is.
But this was it's exactly what it reminded me of. This and the gas stoves is exactly what it reminded me of. Was like one little tink on a battleship, and next thing you know, the battleship has every gun,
all the artillery.
right towards where that fire came from, and just unloaded the entire payload of that ship onto that.
Every show on Fox News did talk about this. Like, every show, Tucker Carlson's talking about it. Like, what the fuck?
Wanting to make sure that when you're not using it, it turns off. Like,
yeah, let's save some money, do what's good for the planet, and Fox News is like, fucking communists!
That's fucking control. Like, I get it, like, they're turning your Xbox off, but, like, you're not
it's not even off. Like, it still can update. I can
Like,
still update when it's off. It can still do what it's supposed to do when it's off. Like, it doesn't need to be running at full fucking
it's just
power.
Optimizing hibernation.
And you know what? For all the conservatives that are mad about it, like, just turn your fucking Xbox off when you're done.
You can change to the
Like,
other setting and use all the
Like,
energy if you want.
it's absurd. It was absurd. And watching that reaction, like, that was, like, there's textbook knee-jerk reaction, and holy shit.
Yeah. It made me sad to just, like, this is the hill they want to die on this week. This is the hill.
Well, just this week. I mean, next week will be something else. Next week, PlayStation's gonna, put in an update that's, not gonna force all of its power to your LEDs to save.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna be, Fox News will turn around and be like, why aren't you burning my fucking eyes out? That's my freedom. My goddamn right.
If I want to burn my eyes, I will do so.
It's my God-given right to burn my fucking eyes out looking at my LCD screen.
They're
like,
the same ones who are like, it's a crime to commit suicide, and it's like, okay, let's okay. If I don't want to be here, you tell me I have to. But if I try to save your eyeballs, fuck you, they're mine.
Right.
What? Well, if they're dead, they can't pay taxes. So.
Oh.
It's all.
Anyway,
So we're
moving
circling
on.
back. It's
But if
always
their
money.
eyes don't work, they collect disability. Oh, I mean, it's just a welfare trap.
Oh man.
All right, let's move on to somebody who's made a mistake this week.
A mistake. I mean, it's a pretty big mistake if you ask me. I mean,
Yeah,
coming
it
off
is. It's huge.
coming off the huge success of High on Life, man.
we
the creator
we
of Rick
got
and Morty, co-creator of Rick and Morty, Justin Roland, was domestic charges were filed against him because I guess he beat his wife up. So he's no longer going to be working on Rick and Morty. Adult Swim has parted ways with him, and he officially resigned from Squanch Games, which is the developer of High on Life. Bad news here because that was a fantastic game. Rick and Morty is one of the greatest anime cartoon shows, whatever you want to category you want to put that in, to ever grace our existence, and it's just sad to see someone just waste their talent in a blink.
Devil's advocate. Rick and Morty, although it was good, it was not that good.
I agree.
It
I'm with
was
you.
not that good.
I'm gonna
And you
lose
know
us a
what?
lot of
If
viewers.
Oh no, yeah,
Yeah.
I canceled as fuck for saying that, but like don't get me wrong, Rick and Morty was great, but it was not the like, oh man, I'm fucking pickle Rick Morty like every fucking 10 seconds. Like it's
It
not
got
like sit around a
pretty
campfire
culty.
and it's not like sit around a campfire and quote Rick and Morty like
It's not in our
anymore. And
generation. It's the generation that came
it,
after us that it's
and,
really.
and I guess that's really it. Is it becomes a generational thing, but like for some reason when that news dropped, I was like, oh, okay, like
Okay.
that, like okay, like okay.
Yeah,
I think my
it
biggest
was.
problem is that they're gonna try to continue Rick and Morty
Yeah,
without him, and
they announced they're
just
gonna
drop
recast.
it. Just,
Yeah.
like anything that goes past like what they're on season 7. Anything that goes past like an extra amount of seasons, like Rick and Morty is not The Simpsons. Rick and Morty is not Family Guy. Like at least not yet. I mean, maybe it
It
could
could
have
be. Yeah,
been
it could have
if
been.
if
But
the
like
guy could
even
keep his
then,
hands to himself.
Family
But
Guy and The Simpsons, all of them jumped the shark at one point, and it was
yeah,
probably 10 years ago. And Rick and Morty's gonna do the same. It's just one of those things. Maybe it's time to die, and they're not gonna let it. But like to be honest, I it was sad to see that he was like grooming people, and then he also decided to beat them up, and it's like what the fuck is wrong with you? And maybe
it
that
is.
led to his, the disturbed show that is Rick and Morty. Maybe that's where he gets his influence from because he's disturbed. But it was just sad to see.
Yeah, for sure. Let's continue our stretch here of some weird news. What's going on in the VR world, Roger?
Okay, so there is a new product in the VR community, but it's not strictly for VR. It can be used along with VR.
Hmm.
Is MuTalk. MuTalk is a new soundproof Bluetooth mic. I don't know if you have a picture of it to show our
I
viewers,
can see
but
them
it
putting it up here.
looks the
It
the
is
VR
the
feed
weirdest.
bag. Yeah, it's like a VR feed bag. You strap it around your face to cover your mouth so that you can have conversations and such in complete silence. So you put it on in front of your mouth so that you can talk. Where say you're having a meeting in a crowded space for some reason, like Starbucks, you can now have confidential discussions
There you
with
go.
the MuTalk, and it unmutes and mutes itself. Yeah, so the VR feed bag.
Love
We are
that.
living in the Matrix. I'm just
Is
saying.
there a spot for treats though? That's honestly the make or break for me. Like I'm a big fan of like my Honey Nut Cheerios, and if I can't get them in that, then I might not buy it.
Like
You
this
know,
image right here just cracks me up. Like, what the fuck are we turning
it's the
into?
worst. It's the worst. Like we are slowly devolving into people that just have this shit over their eyes and mouths, and then stay in their bed all day. Like we're this close to
Yeah.
Wally. We're so close to Wally.
Uh,
This reminds me of that game where you would have to put like a denture like thing in your mouth and like expand your lips
Oh
and
yeah.
then try to make a word and other people had to guess it. It seems like that,
Yeah.
like
Ye-
but far
Yeah.
worse and more of a nightmare.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah. As soon as I saw that, I was like, man, I gotta throw this in here. This is just like a fucking laughing stock at
it's
this
so
point.
weird.
oh yeah,
I was
it's
just so
awful.
confused by this. I was like, oh, the VR feed bag. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it gives you the privacy of like having that privacy room without having like a privacy room. I guess.
What's it gonna do?
I mean,
Honestly, it's gonna keep you out of the purview of deaf people that can read lips. Uh, anybody that can read lips really. Uh, it's so weird. It's so
Yeah.
weird to me. I can't imagine just speaking into a box.
You
I
can't-
don't know.
Technology's great, right?
It's now a mobile sound booth is the idea, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
yeah, so it it's to do naughty things.
Yeah.
Thanks, Disney. So Vic,
Whisper sweet nothings into your box.
ASMR the next level. Vic, tell us about Ubisoft's decision this week.
Oh yeah, just a quick update here. Nothing too crazy. They hired Battlefront 2's creative director to help shape social interactors in the future games. I'm just curious to see how this is going to play out, just because Battlefront 2 had such a shitty launch. It kind of had a kind of a redemption arc, I guess. Like overall, it was a fun game. It just had the whole issues of the loot boxes, pay to win kind of situation going on there, which they eventually fixed. But I'm really curious to see what they mean by
We talking
shaping.
about Star Wars?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, Star Wars.
okay,
Yeah,
I just wanted
Battlefront
to
2.
make sure for our viewers.
Yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 2. So I'm really curious though. But yeah, to help shape the social interactives in the future games, like what social interactions? Like what are we talking about here? Like I'm really
I
curious.
mean, I
I don't
want
know.
to be able to.
It's very ambiguous.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's just to make that kid's comment about fucking my mom a little classier, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they won't. Maybe they won't be allowed to say fuck. Maybe they'll actually force some education into these
Yeah.
social,
Okay.
little chat areas where they're like, "I fornicated thy mother." We'll see.
Fornicated
Yeah.
with thine mother.
But I will say that anything revolving Battlefront 2 still has an ace in my pocket. 10 out of 10. We'll see. Maybe they're talking about like the actual in-game socials. What they're really gonna do about that.
Mhm.
But hopefully Roger can finally get like a good idea of just how that 10-year-old did it.
It's gonna
what
be
I'm
real
hoping.
descriptive.
It's gonna be very descriptive. I think it's really gonna bring a lot into the English lexicon.
It's gonna start keeping like stats, like how many times you say "I fucked your mother" now, or how many times you say
Yeah.
"fuck" or
Yeah,
whatever.
at the end of the year, you just get a nice leaderboard.
It's gonna be like a Spotify wrap up.
Yeah.
According to you fucked
37 women
839
this
mothers.
year.
839 mothers this year.
Oh man, that's great. But Roger, if you want to round us out here with the last two points in our industry here, nothing too big, just some quick updates.
Sure. So, successful as it is, The Last of Us 2 has already been renewed for season 2.
Hmm.
So, if you haven't seen it, do take a look. The first episode is almost a double-length episode, so be aware for the first episode being the length of a movie.
And if I'm not
It is
mistaken,
quite good.
it's the first episode's
It's
being
an
released
hour
on
and 20 minutes.
it's being released like a free to watch episode on I forget which platform it's going. I think it's like YouTube or something like that. You'll be able to watch the first
So-
episode.
I think if you have Roku TVs, you automatically have your access to that first episode, and then after that, you have to you got to get the HBO Max. I've
It's
seen
like that
I
little
have-
taster bag of meth.
Well,
It's just like
I have Roku and I have HBO Max, and I use HBO Max on my Roku, so it's a little gray. But there's a straight up advertisement, and you can click on it no matter what, and it takes you right to the episode. I didn't have to open up my HBO, nothing like that. So if any of you have a Roku and would like to catch this and catch that first hour and 20-minute episode,
it was very
do
good.
so.
Yeah, I still gotta watch
Do
it.
so because it was very true to the story. There's a lot of things that they make different just because, video games show, but nothing that is
Like
The
Halo.
chase
abhorrent.
scene.
Like, yes,
Ugh.
yes,
They
thank you.
reconstructed a chase scene from
Thank
the
you.
beginning of the game, and that was done so well.
It was excellent.
It
And
just
when
it felt so good.
when he's doing the thing with the person, the only difference is literally in the game the person's head was to the right. In the show the person's head is to the left.
Eh.
Like his left.
Yeah.
Like that's how close they're getting this. Like obviously they're making some differences just here they're creative exercising as they are. But this has been damn.
Yeah, this is what the
Damn.
Halo show should have been, Marshmallow.
Thank you.
This
Yes,
is it.
should have
It
been.
was
Should have been.
amazing. All
Should
right.
have been.
So last up here, so we can keep moving along. We're trying to make sure we finish here by 7:50. The
Never.
Future Game Show has been announced for March 23rd. This is a 70 minutes long show. It will include new trailers, new announcements, and unseen games. It will also have a spotlight on VR titles coming. So be on the watch March 23rd when it comes closer. If we're able to co-stream it, we may be able to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will talk about it the week of and the week after it's come out. So be on the lookout if you're looking for new games coming out this year and the next.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that because last year I had some pretty interesting announcements. But let's move on to our juice of the podcast. We got our gaming news. We're gonna start it off with the heavy hitter here, probably the longest part of the itinerary, but I'm gonna try and run through this as quickly as possible. This is the Call of
hold my
Duty
tongue.
Season 2 update. First, before we even get to the Season 2 update, Activision Blizzard has sent out a survey asking people which map they would like to see next for Warzone. A new map, the OG Verdansk, the Blackout map, Caldera, trash, or Verdansk 69. So I was really curious to see
Nice.
which map would you guys like to see return.
Really funny that they called Caldera trash in the survey.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, like it was weird. Trash Caldera.
I actually didn't have a problem with Caldera, to be honest. Not
Disneyland.
people were upset about it. I thought it was fine. It's okay. It's whatever. We're past it. But if you say anything other than OG Verdansk, you might be wrong.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely
Yeah,
bring back the
honestly,
OG
that's
Verdansk.
probably gonna get the most votes because it's just such an iconic map.
I
Yeah.
can't wait for them to get all these votes for Verdansk and then not fucking
Not
do
bring it back,
That's
yeah.
gonna be my
Yeah, yeah.
favorite thing.
They're like,
It's gonna
we
be
really
awesome.
liked Caldera, honestly, so we're gonna use that one.
They're like, it's gonna be a lot easier to port Caldera. You know what? You want Verdansk? Excellent. How's Verdansk 84 for you? You like those Rambo skins, don't you? Here you go.
There.
We know you wanted it.
You had to
You
buy it
said
again.
Verdansk. Like,
But
man.
yeah, so that was interesting. But on to our season 2 update, which was delayed. It is coming out on February 15th. In the update are going to be crashes and stability, which is very much needed, as we all know. The audio is being adjusted, UI is being adjusted for easier navigation of the menus and whatnot, which is super needed. The experience overall, weapon balancing, which we know is atrocious at times. But first up, in regards to the battle royale, 1v1 gulags are returning. Thank goodness. There's no more jailer, and they're actually
Finally.
and they're returning back to the center flag that appears in overtime. First person to capture it. If no one kills each other, that person wins.
It worked better.
Yeah.
You didn't have to rely on taking 2v1s, which I hear
Happen a lot.
Gobi really
So-
doesn't like. I hear this a lot, I think.
I have by the end of it, maybe it's Stockholm syndrome. Who knows? But I have grown to love the gulag we have now. Now I'm not against 1v1 gulag. I'm not against the flag, anything like that. But after a while and spending a lot of time in there, as you all know, so like it is a completely different dynamic. I can both love and hate having to rely on somebody else. But that dynamic is always going to be there. And with the proximity chat, being able to talk to other people, like, hey, we gonna go jailer, and then getting shot in the back anyway. Love that. But there's a lot that was still there to like, and it's not that they made a huge mistake when they made this the gulag, right? I think it took a lot of time because it was new. People don't like change. People don't like things like that. I didn't like it at first. I was like, this is a nightmare. I can't stand it. But it ended up it did end up being fun. The jailer ended up being like that extra little piece, almost like the gas when you're trying to get to the circle, where it's like you have that extra thing in the back of your head that you have to look out for.
Yeah.
Now this, I think, is going to be great when it comes back. A lot of people are going to love this. I am going to miss some of those dynamics, though.
Mhm.
I really will miss some of those dynamics, getting just thrown in with a random person, You guys have to rely on each other. Can we do this? Or like, in classic, like what I have to deal with is like I run out, I
Yeah.
look back, my guy's still standing there because he's AFK. Love that shit.
Well,
It'll
I think
it'll be fun, but I think this is what the people want,
I
and
think the biggest issue though with it
that's what
is
we'll
the
get.
balance because you have to fight somebody who might be with their teammate. They're coordinating,
Right.
and you've got Rambo the clown next to you.
Well, you can still talk, and if there's one thing that I can tell you, being with your teammate means absolute dick. Means absolute nothing, because I've been with a teammate a bunch of times, and we still get rolled. Or I ended up once again in classic fashion 1v2, and I'm just like sweating my ass off trying to figure it out.
Uh,
But that was part of the fun, at
yeah.
least to me. I liked the struggle. I like that, and I wanted to keep that. But this, I mean, 1v1. I mean, put your boots on, get ready. You come back if you can make sure you come back. That's about it. You don't have to rely on anybody else. If you die in the gulag the way it is now, and your teammate wins, you come back. At this point, you die
Yeah.
or that's
It's
it.
Yeah.
two people in,
Yeah.
one person out, not
As long
two
as
people. Yeah,
And
four.
as long as I have a play again button, I don't care.
Right.
I
And
just want my fucking
but
play again button.
some other changes to the gulag though, we're getting better ground loot and more money also in there because they want you to be able to, if you win, you spawn back, you have a chance to actually come back as opposed to spawning in with a pistol and having no money. Like the chances of
Or that
returning.
shotgun, that
Yeah, the shotgun.
sweet shotgun.
Yeah, now they're gonna be rotating like they're getting into shotguns. So like in the first like gulag or whatever, there's gonna be like pistols, but like later on, and you're in the gulag, there's gonna be like AR, submachine guns, stuff like that. So that'll be interesting to see.
True.
That's gonna change
Now,
the
all
dynamic.
pistol.
Yeah.
Boo.
But overall, the cash economy is changing. They adjusted the lowest values that you'll be able to find. On the floor, it'll be 800. The lowest value you'll find in a cash register will be 500. So that'll be cool. Big changes to the loot and inventory. No more backpacks. No more windows. No more menus. All them. No more any of that kind of stuff. So, all loot whenever you kill somebody is going to drop out onto the floor instead of being laying flat. It's going to be floating like the original Warzone, which they could have just stuck to originally. But who knows?
I didn't see a problem with the
Fortnite.
flat, but this must be an issue with the coding where they can't have it lay flat and do the thing we want it to do. This is not a like aesthetically, like the stuff laying there is much better. Floating, it was kind of weird. I actually went back to a bunch of clips that I had from Verdansk, and the stuff looked gross. They just look gross because they're just sitting there and just floating, just kind of like hanging out, like almost like a fishtail. And so this must be something that they physically can't change, unless they actually
They're
change
not
the way it looks
competent
when
enough.
it's chilling. I think they're plenty competent enough. They've programmed the entire game
Well, they're just
around that.
listening to the community.
But
The community wants
Yeah.
floating loot. They don't.
why?
It's
Does
easy.
Fortnite have it?
It's easier to
Fuck
see. It's
Fortnite.
easier to see that floating there as opposed to it's laying on the ground. I have no idea what the fuck it is. I have to walk up to it, look over top of it. Oh, okay, I know it's the M4. Like it
Part of
takes
it.
it takes that out of the game.
I don't know.
So it
a
helps
lot of
speeds up the game.
Stuff on top of each other.
Yeah, when it's laying on
also,
top of it.
you can't grab the stuff below.
Yeah,
that makes sense, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, floating.
But we also have no longer getting medium or large backpacks, which means people aren't going to be carrying around 7 kill streaks.
yeah. Like we did
That
there
was
for a while.
UAV.
That was
UAV,
fun.
UAV.
There was one game where I had like 5 when I had 5 revive kits, and that shit was hilarious. Like,
And then also in regards to loadouts, they're introducing customizable perk packages. So like whenever you create your class or whatever, you actually be able to choose which perks. But they are limited in options. There's not going to be every perk accessible to build these packages. So that'll be interesting to see which ones are or not. Also, they added new spawn locations for more buy stations, and there's going to be more of them around the map too. Because I don't know about you guys, but it feels like there's barely any buy stations on the map as it is now. But
see, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the amount of buys you have because that comes into part of your actual planning for the rest of the game. See, there's a lot of things they're fixing here that I didn't have a problem with.
hmm
I had a problem with when I was on train and I go to jump on a box and it automatically puts me under the train and I fucking die. See, that stuff I have a problem with.
yeah.
I don't care if the loot floats or not. I don't care how many buy stations there are because that comes into part of your planning and trying to survive and do this.
Yeah,
And it also
I don't know.
funnels people in and closes the game quicker.
yeah, and
I think the next update is the next thing we have here is that eventually what happens is if you've been playing long enough, you automatically get a win now, right?
and then also last thing here with battle royale is all players will spawn with 3 plate vests now, so there's no more. You won't have to pick those up, which makes sense. Like I don't even know why that was even a mechanic. Like they try to do like Apex where you can upgrade your shield and whatnot. So I'm glad that that's been scrapped. But you can burst through doors while plating. So I guess that was a missed mechanic from Warzone 1. People were like, "We need that back." So it's
We
back.
do.
Like,
Like,
I
I need to get the
I can't go
fuck
through the
through
door and I
there.
can't stuff a plate in. I mean, like you're like,
At this,
like
these are not the updates I was hoping for,
Yeah.
right? These
Some
are
of
not
them
the
are
updates.
like,
and then
I
next
was
up,
waiting for updates where it's like, go ahead, go
oh,
ahead.
it's all
I'll
good.
just, I would vent all night.
It's
You're
all good.
good.
We'll have to dedicate an episode to Call of Duty, and that's it. And
Just
Activision
to
Blizzard.
this, yeah.
Next up, the update for DMZ enemy tuning because their AIs have been way too overpowered. It seems spawn points have been adjusted. Mission difficulty tuning crashes. Obviously, Roger, me and you struggle with big time crashes.
oh,
See,
you spawn in and the game crashes and you lose all your
you
shit.
lose everything, and it's
Why'd
just
I
like
fucking play?
yeah. And then this part here actually really pissed off a lot of people. Seasonal refreshes. Basically every contract or anything you did with the factions are being reset, and people spent like the entirety of season 1 since the game dropped to complete these because it takes a really long time just for them to reset. And you're just like, I worked that hard for what? And the same thing with the
See,
Warzone stats. Like none of those were getting
this is
tracked.
classic missed mark.
Yeah.
Why are they doing certain things like this? And like we had talked about what, like 4 or 5 episodes back, we still can't track our Warzone wins.
Nope. This will
And
be
we
available
can't,
now.
but
in
we're
Warzone
getting,
2.
but we're getting a seasonal refresh where everybody else's shit gets nixed, right?
Yep.
Like, see, this is once again like classic Call of Duty.
Not ready to launch.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll do this, but we're gonna do this just in case, just to piss you off, like that kind of shit.
Yeah. And then last up for the DMZ, they're going to be like new locations, aka exclusion zones, like Building 21, which is returning. So that's like a in the game you can go into Building 21, but then it becomes its own separate like mode. I guess I've never been into Building 21, and it was only there for like 3 days, and then that shit was removed. So glad to see it's back. I know there's like weapon crates that you can loot and extract with
You
different
can
weapons
get
and whatnot. So
what's also cool is like DMZ had so many interesting unlocks and it could have been so much for the game, but the fact that just so little of it was fleshed out,
yeah,
like it just made it hard. Like the AI was really oppressive. I'm glad to see they're changing it. Like there were some really good like weapon schematics.
yeah.
Like just go in, get some weapon schematics, but like they made it so unbearably difficult to play. Like we spawned in 2 or 3 times and it crashed every time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to returning to
I
DMZ
want to actually
in
play
season
it.
2. Yeah, I'm really excited for it. Last up for the season 2 update is for multiplayer. Nothing too crazy, but audio fixes, perk balancing, which is still big concern in the community. Reducing the bonus perk cost by 50%, so it takes less time. And same thing with the ultimate perk at 25%. At this point, you might as well just spawn me with all 4 perks. Like, why do I have to wait half a game, 3/4 of a game to get Ghost? Like that completely
I
deteriorates how
think
I want
the
to play.
idea, yeah, but I think the idea is if you spawned with the perks, then it would change the dynamic of the game to force people to use certain kill streaks and things like that right out the gate all the time.
Like how
And
Call of Duty has always
yeah,
been.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But like they want you to use all the things that are in the game, but
Right, we don't want to.
at the end of the day, we're just gonna all have UAV unless people have everyone has ghosts now. Like it
Right,
just
and that changes the dynamic. I no longer have to run
yeah,
UAV as much. There could be one person on my team that runs UAV instead of everybody. Because if everyone runs it at the beginning of the game, you're gonna know where everybody is at all times. And the
yeah.
mini map already doesn't really operate how it should. Because if someone shoots with an unsilenced gun, they don't want to appear on the mini map like they used to. So like, the game is just completely like not how it should be. Like it needs a lot of fixes before it's gonna be where it
Yeah.
should be. But weapon balancing also for multiplayer. The true official hardcore mode is coming. That tier one bullshit was really just realism from Modern Warfare 2019 implemented. Now this is legitimate hardcore. New modes and playlists. That update on that is to come. But the big one here is ranked play is coming with season two. So we'll see if that's any good. Hopefully it's better than Valorant or Overwatch. That's the hopefully kind of play is. But that's all of the Call of Duty news here. Roger, if you want to kick us off with the next one here.
Okay, so Disney Dreamlight Valley is getting its next big update here. Since we're still not at 1.0, we're still in that early stages of just a playable beta. Next month, we're going to be seeing a new character. For the next 3 months, I should say, we should be getting new characters. We're getting Mirabelle, Olaf, and Simba for the next 3 months. And then for the rest of the roadmap for 2023, we don't know what's coming after March and April, but we know what's going to come before the end of the year. And the big one on the list that everyone's excited for is multiplayer.
Yeah.
Multiplayer will be added to the game, but we don't know when exactly. But be on the lookout if you're excited. Next month, you're going to be able to celebrate a 100th anniversary for Disney, with that being the Star Path to gain all of the different all the different items in the battle pass.
Mm-hmm.
And then the month after, you have Simba, and then we hopefully should see multiplayer hopefully by summer.
Yeah, hopefully we get some more details because, like, what are we just going to be able to visit each
What is
other's
multiplayer?
realm, or are there going to be games or modes or challenges or missions? Like, can we work together? Like, how's it going to be?
Can I place things on your island
Yeah,
or in your dream space?
yeah.
What's going on?
Can I build my house there too? With like, I don't know. We'll see. But next up, in regards to 2K, I wish I could play the theme song here. I don't want to get a copyright strike, but they announced WWE 2K23, and John Cena will be on all three covers, and this is to celebrate his 20th anniversary as being a wrestling superstar. So that's pretty cool. All the memes were going crazy. They're like, "Damn, 2K really decided to put nobody on the cover this year because the whole
Dang,
you
why,
can't see
why
me."
it just says WWE 2K23 like
That's
they
it.
couldn't pick any
What else is
wrestler
on there?
like to put on there. Like, I don't get it.
I don't know.
They didn't get any rights to any other wrestlers, I
Yeah,
hear.
I guess. This game is releasing on March 17th, so just in a couple of months here, and this is coming to both previous and current gen. So we got PS4, 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and the PC as well. For all those wrestling fans, the male soap opera. But if
Hey,
Roger, if
all
you
I'm saying is I'm gonna be hosting a wrestling themed night. All right, we're gonna play 2K, and we're all gonna
And
come bring
and
our
Smash.
own self-made
and Vic,
characters.
I know you didn't just say that the day after Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch that. I know some people are
Like,
excited for it. I was like,
man, oh come
we
on.
out there pretending to wrestle people. Come on.
Attitude Era is still the best era. Doesn't matter.
um, well, what's going on in CD Project Red, Roger?
So they just announced that CD Projekt Red for 2077 Phantom Liberty, this is going to be their biggest budget DLC to date. So this will be bigger than any other DLC they put out. That includes Blood and Wine, which was a whole new story to Witcher
Yeah.
3. This just everything they've ever released. This is going to be bigger than it. This should be pretty much a standalone story, like a fully fleshed out zone. It should be big.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be. It's only DLC because they're working
Is
on
it
the next
is
entry.
it going to get rushed? Is it going to get rushed so that some neckbeard can play it on his PlayStation 2?
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Because I don't want to see what happens with this DLC, what happened with the original
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077. Because they've spent so much money, and no doubt this is to help take care of kind of that heartbreak that had existed with the original launch of 2077. I mean, I'm going back to play this. I'm going back to play this 100%.
But this has to take all the hopes and dreams that we had for canceled multiplayer,
Yeah.
multiple DLCs, all the stuff that we were supposed to get for 2077. This is to make up for it,
I'm
hopefully.
walking in there with an open mind, knowing what they had to deal with when
An
when
empty
they
wallet.
pushed out 2077, and I'm going in with no expectations. I'm going in with, hey, this is maybe part of like maybe this is what they actually like maybe this DLC will be a finished product of something or like resembling what they actually wanted to put out
Yeah.
versus what we all got. I still blame whiny fanboys for that shit, and I'm still
Mm.
gonna be bitter until the day I die. I will die on that hill, best believe, because I mean, still upset about that whole fact that whole BS that they had to deal with.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this big budget DLC is gonna be exactly what they need to come back from it. Maybe it's good enough to take care of the multiplayer issue that we have right now. Maybe it's gonna be garbage. Who knows?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
one thing to look
Who
forward to, it's
knows?
going to be next gen only, so it's on the PS5
And
and the
that's
Series X next.
Yeah.
that was
They
the
are
biggest,
locking out the DLC.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was the biggest like green flag I would say for a gaming manufacturer for a studio like that. That's a huge green flag. Is like, hey, we're not dealing with old gen anymore. Like we can't do that shit.
Yeah.
This is for next gen. This is a next gen game on next gen console with next gen graphics, like everything like that. And I hope so hard that this is exactly what they need to come back from that.
Hopefully.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So next
So
up, yeah, if you want to go ahead and kick us off with Lord of the Rings here.
okay, so next up we've got the Lord of the Rings Gollum. So we finally kind of got an idea for release date, and they might have well have just said 2023.
Yeah. At that point.
Either April or September, sometime in that time frame of 6 months, we're supposed to get this game. So it did get its official launch window. Whether or not that gets pushed back, we'll
Again.
kind of have to wait and see.
Yeah. Because the game was supposed to already have been out, so we'll see.
Yep.
And then next up
All
for
right.
Valorant, one of the executive producers stated that they have a games replay system is in the works, and also for new server locations as well. So I guess it's pretty cool. I guess that'll be really helpful, like for pros if they need to
It's
rewatch
something
games that aren't
that's
streaming or
something even
something.
normal people wanted.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
that's something like
yeah,
so many games have. Like Overwatch, you can take full clip and rewatch them.
yeah,
So it's something the community as well as pros have been looking for. How do
yeah.
we go back and see what went
I
wrong?
mean, Call of Duty had it there for a while with theater mode, and then they remove it, and then they add it back, and they remove it. So it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
But next up
Next
for
up,
PlayStation has a couple things here.
yeah, so Naughty Dog has officially announced Uncharted is done. They are not going to make another Uncharted game.
Rip.
But we do have some news out of Gobo Studios. This is the studio that works on Horizon. Redfall and Hogwarts Legacy co-developer is now going to be working on the Horizon series.
Hmm.
So if these games do well, you know,
We
we've
have
got
something to
some
look.
really good
Yeah.
talent to continue to push Horizon Zero Dawn into maybe being that next Uncharted series, that thing to take the mantle.
Right. I'm
oh
I'm
yeah,
curious
for
to see
sure.
what kind of spin-offs they can come up with. Obviously, we got the original game Horizon Zero Dawn, followed up by the sequel of Forbidden West, and then obviously the PSVR 2 game Call of the Mountains coming out here soon this month or in February. So we'll definitely see how it goes. But next up here we got Road 96, the game that me and Roger just recently beat. Got an announcement that a prequel is coming out called Mile Zero, and it'll follow the story of Zoe, one of the main characters from Road 96. And then this will be releasing on April 4th, 2023. And to round out our gaming news, Xbox had a lot that I'm going to try and run through as much as I can here. The Xbox and Bethesda Developer Direct recap: Minecraft Legends got an April 18th release date, and also showcased the PvP. Forza Motorsport just got some more gameplay, but no release date, which was sad to see because I'm hoping this game comes out within the first half of 2023. Hi-Fi Rush was shadow dropped. It's already reaching top 5 games on Steam. It's 9 out of 10 or better in most reviews, and overwhelmingly positive on Steam. And Elder Scrolls Online got a new expansion for June 5th, and it's going to be kind of free to play for everyone, like all of the previous stuff, for a limited time. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you go check it out for sure. And Redfall got a May 2nd release date, and we also got to see some extended gameplay. And dude, this game looks really good. Really, really looking forward to that. And as for the news, they said that their sales gaming revenue was down 13% during the holiday quarter, but this is probably due to a lack of blockbuster first party games. There was no big
They all
releases.
got moved to
Yeah,
2023.
so in theory, makes sense. There was no reason to really buy or do anything with the Xbox as opposed to
And,
the smaller games.
and we don't have Halo. Like, Halo has dropped the ball.
Yeah.
True.
They did confirm that they will be returning to LA for the annual summer showcase, but they didn't say whether they're going to be a part of E3 or the Summer Games Fest, because we know that both of them will be going on. Next up, Game Pass editions. Hi-Fi Rush is out now. GoldenEye 007, the classic game, is also out now. RoboQuest, which is in game preview, comes out tomorrow. Age of Empires 2 on the 31st. Inclunati on the 31st. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R on the 31st. Darkest Dungeon and Grid Legends on the 2nd of February, and Hot Wheels Unleashed on the 7th, which I'm looking forward to because that was one of the best racing games of last year. We are
It's such a
losing.
good racing game.
Yeah,
One of my favorite racing games of Hot Wheels.
yeah, I love Hot Wheels.
I
I
gotta
remember building
love
trucks
shit.
growing up. And Game Pass departures on the 31st. We're losing Donut Country, Taco no Tatatsu. I don't know. I'm not even going to try and say that last part. The Drum Master, Telling Lies, and Worms WMD are all leaving. Forza Motorsport 5 did get an update. Series 17 is a Japanese automotive like festive theme, so we're getting new cars, new wheels, new event labs, and then Series 18 will be honoring the late Ken Block, who was a rally icon who did pass away like about a month or two ago. And but last but not least, sad news: Warhammer 40k Dark Tide has been delayed again for Series X and S, and no new date has been provided. So
Well, and let's take a moment to talk about why Dark Tide has been delayed, because this is one of those big games that was supposed to be a huge hit,
yeah,
and it it
there's a
didn't
lot of
really
problems.
do many. There were no waves. Yeah, the game itself had trouble with some of the progression. People were really kind of upset about how the game played. You had to be a true, real fan of Vermintide and those style of games to really want to just grind out the
Yeah,
hours that was required for this game. And the team decided, hey, we need to put this off. We cannot put the console version out yet. We need to worry about getting this game polished on PC. The players we have now are our priority. We will expand after we've made the game good again.
right. Which
And
makes
that's
sense.
that's their idea. They felt like they didn't do a good enough job for their fan base. And this is what we need to see. Companies not pushing forward, but companies caring about what they've put out.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
and we had an option where people had, we're gonna get a game from a company that was, caring about what they put out, and then we ended up with Cyberpunk.
Right.
Uh, I'm still on
Exactly.
it. I'm still on it. I swear to God.
And and this
Yeah.
is and this is a developer who's decided, hey, we flopped. Let's fix it.
Yeah, and
Sure.
it makes sense that they're taking ownership. They're not delivering on the expectations that the gaming community had for this game. But
Yeah, and they watched other people get sued, so they're like, hey, we gotta fix
yeah, we might want to fix this before we're
Yeah.
next. But yeah, man, that's all the gaming news. I know there was a bunch of details I probably missed with the Xbox stuff, but we wanted to cover the rumors and leaks because there was just a couple of them here that were kind of interesting. First off, in regards to Ubisoft, apparently Far Cry 7 and a standalone multiplayer version of Far Cry is rumored to be in development. I played Far Cry 6 as my first one, really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to a 7. Whether everybody else is or not, that may
I
say
mean,
otherwise.
Far Cry Battle Royale. Here we go, guys.
Yeah,
Yo,
I
I
mean,
really hope they
it
bring
has a
Map
nice
Creator
setting.
into this one.
I mean, they could just use
Yeah.
Far Cry 6 as the setting for a battle royale. You're on an island already, and it'd be perfect,
Well,
honestly.
you're always on an island on Far Cry.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
I never played the other one, so I wouldn't know.
So I started with 1, 2, and 3, and then after that I took a nice big break, and then hit with 6, and then hopefully, I wasn't very whelmed with 6. I was whelmed, but not overly so.
Hmm.
And hopefully 7 will come out and do something that kind of is a little bit more reminiscent of the first 1 or 2. The multiplayer gonna be, if they do it right, gonna be awesome.
Far
Yeah.
Cry honestly has a lot of potential to be a really
Yeah.
fun and exciting battle royale style game,
Hmm.
especially with the enemies that are in the game.
The
You could be
weaponry.
walking around inside the jungle and a fucking tiger attacks you. Like shit like
That's
that
what
would
I'm
be
saying.
fun.
Yeah, I mean, look what
That
Fortnite does. Fortnite had
element.
dinosaurs and shit running around.
Yeah,
Fortnite or
Yeah.
Far Cry Battle Royale would be a perfect kind of game, honestly. I mean, the
exactly.
Battle Royale genre is already saturated with too many of them, but I'd be curious to check out a Far Cry one.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
me too,
dinosaurs, if we're gonna do
honestly.
a battle royale, bring back Turok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also in regards to Ubisoft, apparently Assassin's Creed Mirage got a release date leaked online, but I believe that this is probably just a placeholder. It's set for June 30th of 2023, which is I guess the end of the first 6 months. So I mean, we could see it before then, but I doubt it. I think this is going to be a game that comes out like October, November. So we'll see if that's the official date. If not, we'll see because it is a Friday, which is when big AAA games get released. So it is a possibility. But Roger, if you want to end out our leaks and rumors here.
Yeah, so supposedly we might be seeing a Life is Strange 3. Potentially teased. We've got a retro themed image. So in the image, we're treated to a cozy, nostalgic view of a retro themed gaming setup with elements that point to a title that could be set in the 1990s. That's not all. The image was posted alongside a link that led to Don't Nod's careers, platforms, and revealing a few vacancies in a bunch of positions for game design. In other words, they're looking for staff to work on a new narrative game. They're looking for sound, game design, and animation.
Yeah, so that'd be awesome to see a new Life is Strange. I mean, we just got True Colors not that long ago, and then we could see
To
Life is Strange 3.
follow the actual story that did their company well,
Hmm.
to actually follow the mainline story again would be really interesting.
Yeah, I still got to check. I've never played any of them, and that is a game that I must play as soon as possible. But that is all of our gaming rumors and leaks and all of the news we got. So definitely want to thank everyone who did check us out live today on Twitch and anyone checks us out later on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. But Roger, where can the audience find you at?
Hey, you may be able to find me here shortly playing Warzone at twitch.tv/lunatic_oblivion. And if you also would like my Twitter, I don't use it lately, but it is lunatic oblivion without the underscore.
And what about you, Scott?
So as always, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, or anything like that. Scoby1 is my I guess name there. So sorry, that was a really bad like outro on my behalf. Facebook, Scott Roby. If you want to look at me on Instagram or Twitter, you can look for Scoby1. If you're looking on BattleNet, you can find me Scoby1 11780, or if you want to find me on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Scoby1.
Easy enough. And of course, everyone, you can check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin underscore, Xbox X Never Space Chillin, Facebook is Vic Brubacher. And of course, I stream over at my Twitch. Be sure to check out my schedule for this week at twitch.tv/ Mr. Never Chillin. But we want to thank everyone again. But until next time, peace.
Peace.
Thank you guys.